The corporate media is dying and a new media revolution is here. It is time to fight for the truth. 2C TV is leading this fight. The channel that challenges the mainstream media and the political establishment, from the left-wing nutters to the globalist elite. Join our revolution and help us win for freedom and common sense. Become a 2C TV Plus member today and get access to uncensored shows, documentaries, and our chat forum. We are the media. Well, that's not the right screen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to 2C TV. I'm Maya 2C, and today we're joined by two champions and heroes and hardworking people who have had some issues with the Palestinian protesters and the police and many others as well. We're going to give you guys some updates about what's been going on. As some of you might already be aware on social media, a police report was leaked and posted online from was it about a week and a half ago. The last pro-Palestinian protest that we had, and then obviously we can't really go through the actual legal details yet, but there is a whole process. There's an investigation inside the police, but also externally. They are saying they're taking it seriously. We'll continue to push to get some answers in terms of who it was, how, what, why. But obviously the second report, obviously the Niak Korbani, who is now joining us alongside Mark Burberk. Welcome, guys, to the show. We're going to talk about all this because over the last week or so, the three of us have been dealing with this. And it's been obviously, especially for you guys and Niak specifically, is a bit of a more concern. We're not going to explain the details of why your life could be even more at risk than others around you. But let's just say the private information being leaked. There are two issues. One is the fact that it could actually put certain lives at risk. Secondly, it's just about the principle of it. We want the police to be trusted, and we want that relationship between the people and the police and the authorities. And there seems to be a bit of an issue. And there's been a lot of social media accounts and certain people were saying that nothing's actually happening, and they were technically defending the police, which is really weird. But Niak, tell us about obviously what you've gone through over the last week, and then obviously we'll get your perspective on ever since you've been more politically active in the UK, since you moved from Iran, all the clashes that you've had to deal with. So how has it been going the last week?
So, hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, as a political activist, uh, I'm always ready for fight, and I always ready for something serious happening to me. And I know the risk very well, but in in this last 10 days, I actually was just shocked. Something serious happened to me here in London, here actually, which is never ever happened in my life, all life, in my all activity. From 2012, I'm actually 2010, 9, I actually start to fight against Islamic Republic when I was in Iran. Uh, Western country, they call that green movement. When I
Mm,
was in green movement in Iran, we do some activity in Iran. I get injury uh, in my head. Many things happening to me. I try to publish some secret things which is against the
mm,
Iranian values actually, and that's why 2014 I run away from Iran. I'm going to Germany. I was in Germany for around 8 years, and I'm doing the same thing, same activity against Islamic Republic, against IRGC.
mm,
And then when my life was in danger, I decided to run away again. I'm coming here in UK, but in this last year, actually after October 7, when I decide to be voice of Iranian people, which is they wanna show their solidarity with the Israeli actually people and Israel. I decide to show our solidarity, the Iranian people solidarity. Uh, from that time, actually, start the problem, which is it's not fair.
Mm.
You have one side, the
Yeah.
Palestinian actually, which is they are supporting Hamas, and now I should deal with the police, which
But
is
that's the thing. So
they
on the police thing, because
can't even
they've been difficult on you, right? The police.
exactly, even we have a serious problem with the police. Police put many condition on me. 1 year try to stop me. Is that okay? This is a fight, but this is not fair if they you know publish your information.
Mm.
Serious, they put your life, your family's life in danger. you know i I try to be quiet and don't think anything against the police right now,
Yeah.
because I know they are they my family's life, actually my self life is on their hand. Actually, they
Yeah.
can easily uh, playing with that.
Yeah.
That's not fair. I'm prepared for dying, but it's not fair something happening from government.
Yeah.
That's why
But that,
I'm really shocked.
yes. So I mean, that's the thing. I mean, with your situation again, without getting into the details, it's not just your life, but also the people around you, your family, and always, and as you said, we're not really just attacking randomly individual police officers in that sense, but we're just asking questions. We just need answers. And Mark, obviously, Niak himself, obviously, as an activist, but also as a kind of independent journalist. Today, actually, Niak was 2CTV's reporter. Thank you very much, Niak, at the farmers' protest. But Mark, obviously, we would be technically on a different political spectrum. Like politically, we might actually have different views on certain things there, but we're all living in the same country. We are Democrats. We believe in democracy. We believe in freedom, and we are obviously also supporters of the Jewish nation. And have you been surprised over the last year how you've been treated on the streets in terms of the what we call the two-tier policing? And yeah, and then what's your thoughts on what's been going on over the last week?
No, I haven't been surprised, really. I have to say, obviously, before October the 7th, like Niak says, I hadn't really come face to face with it
Mm.
directly. It wasn't until I started to get out um, campaigning and then trying to stop the marches and then put on counter protests with our group, Our Fight.
Mhm.
So it wasn't until then that I started to come right up close to it, but it was in the air. You could tell, for example, the way that things like St George's Day were policed. Now no matter what you think of those lads having a beer in Trafalgar Square, the way that they were treated by the police, you
Mm.
can really see that. That there was a lot of different things going on and the way the police reacted. I think the big thing for me is the way that they kind of, I don't know whether you'd call it two-tier policing, but the way that they um, tend to go with the larger group. This happens to us a lot. NIAC will bear this out as well. Like if there's a large group, they'll say, "Oh, well, you're antagonizing them, or you're causing a breach of the peace, or you're the people at fault." Um, and why are we at fault? Because there's only a handful of us, and there's tens of thousands of them. Well, that's as you said, that's not democracy. That's
Mm.
not free speech. That's just bowing down to the mob. Whoever's got the largest group wins. Well, that's not how Britain should be. So this is
Yeah.
why it's important for us.
It is. I mean, you mentioned in terms of the treatment on the day, and I've always said I appreciate that sometimes some certain police officers, when they bring it from other places, other towns and cities, they might get overwhelmed or they might not have had the proper briefing. You know, I get all that, but it's just that the last one that we got into trouble over with, you guys were in the middle of it with your obviously Unite. The Our Fight UK obviously signs with the Hamas terrorists, Hezbollah terrorists, and you were basically kettled because they said for your own safety, we might actually even arrest you. And while I was there, obviously they initially threatened to arrest me because I didn't have a press pass. They forced me to obviously be part of the counter protest side, which then I ignored. It was like, I'm just reporting. I'm not going to provoke. But you mentioned the word antagonizing. That's the problem because the again, not to get into the legal details, but when in a report that is leaked, that is online now, it says Maya TC is there antagonizing.
Mm.
Obviously, it's gonna for a lot of people who are pro-Palestinian or other groups, they're gonna look at it. They're gonna think, even if they're like okay people, they're gonna look at it. They're gonna think, well, Maya TC is a bad man. He's an evil man. He's gonna go antagonize. So when we see him, we're gonna have to stop him. So
Yeah.
on that level, it puts my life in a little bit in danger. Niak's problem is on a whole different level, so it's not even about me because a lot of people thought this whole thing with the police and the report is just about me. It's not about me. It's about also you guys, but also it's the principle of it.
Mm.
And Mark, actually, on that before I get to Niak, can you tell us more about why we also have a problem? Because on behalf of everybody else, that is it's the principle that they haven't actually been able to tell us anything yet. Fine, we'll wait. But if we can't be trusting the police, how can others
Mm.
trust the police?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think a big part of this is, I've been inspired by Niak, as I'm sure many people have, because he's constantly saying to me, look, you have your freedoms here. You need to push those freedoms. You need to push them to the limit. In Iran, they don't have that, and still these young people are being brave and standing up to the IRGC and to the authorities. And so here we need to keep pushing our freedoms and asserting that no, we do have the right to do a counter protest, for example, even if there's tens of thousands of them and only one of us. Um, that's not our problem. That's the police's problem to facilitate that. So you're quite right. We need to keep illustrating where the limits to the freedom are, and bringing up cases like yours and like Niak's, so that people can really see it, and then
Yeah,
encouraging people to do the same themselves.
yeah,
If they themselves are restricted, or you get sort of taken to court for a tweet or whatever, then we need to be supporting each other and making sure people have backup for those kinds of things. We went to the court this morning. There's a court case going on for somebody who's accused of assault. There were 30 people in the court. They couldn't fit us in. So 15 in the court and 15 outside waiting. So it's that kind of thing. If somebody's got a case, Niak knows we go and support him as well. Yeah, because they, as you say, they're doing it for all of us. Each
yeah.
of these cases is challenging and supporting our freedoms.
That I mean, you're absolutely spot on. And actually, you guys at Our Fight UK have been doing a great job anyway. And I remember when the whole thing started about a year ago after the initial protest from the pro-Palestinian side, it was just about three of you, four of you, and then it kept growing and growing and growing. And Niak was just on his own, running around like a meerkat, getting arrested left, right, and centre. I remember the first couple of times he was arrested on his own. It's like, what is he doing? Who is this guy? But actually, Niak, you said obviously you're not gonna right now. You could say a lot about the police, but not right now. But if you could. Because it seems like some people in the police would even see you as a troublemaker, as well as me for some reason. What's your message to them, the people in the police who are misguided, perhaps? Any nice message, any sort of appeal to them?
Uh, actually, uh, as the police call me troublemaker, the leftists actually calling me a troublemaker, and attention seeker or something like that. They actually trying to use some words to stop me, to saying, yeah, to showing, to bullying me actually. And they try hard, but I'm not the person who, with them bully, actually going and hiding and stop the activity. No,
Mm. Yeah.
I when they actually trying to stop me, I prepare myself more and more to fighting. And actually, I remember always Iran, and always the Iranian people inside Iran. They are bravely showing their actually support for freedom.
Mm.
They fighting for that. For example, they just they going with the sign saying Javid Shah, which is mean long live kings. Uh, they always trying to show what they want,
Mhm.
and they want to fighting for their actually future and freedom. I always seeing them Iranian people inside Iran. I'm following them. I get many message from inside Iran. They saying, look, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much to be our voice actually, and keep fighting, keep showing the actually Western country
Mm.
we are different between we are different. We are Iran and Islamic Republic. It's not representing us. That's why I try to show that even facing the you know death threat
Yeah.
every day doesn't matter for me. I'm not stopping. But something, one week was in my mind, and I'm telling to myself every day. I'm saying, maybe I'm a refugee here in UK. Maybe my life is not important for the British patriot, which is not. Many British actually supporting me, and showing their support. But I'm
Mm.
telling to myself every every single in last week, uh, maybe the police think my life is not important for British values.
Mm.
But I'm saying to the police and the system, they know after
Mm.
me you gonna be going for them.
Mm.
That's why they supporting me. That's why they coming and showing their solidarity with us, and we are fighting for everyone.
I think you're right. People like myself and you, Niak, one of the things that we're trying to tell people here in the West, in Britain, for example, is our message is don't turn Britain into another Iran. We've seen what happened in 1979. We're trying to warn you. And actually, from what I see, if I could speak on your behalf, Mark, is what I see is that people like yourself are also trying to bring out important issues, including, for example, anti-Semitism. And you're trying to say it doesn't matter if you're right wing or left wing or this or that, we can all fight for humanity and actual freedom, right? If I'm not wrong, Mark.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I mean, anti-Semitism is the main issue that we set our campaign, set
Mm.
our fight up on. And I think the reason it relates to all these issues that you're talking about is people seem to be prepared to suspend normal mores of
Mm.
society, normal things like free speech, if it's against Israel and if it's against the Jews. So I think the best example for me that really hit home for me recently was, you probably know this example, outside the JW3, which for people
Mm.
who don't know is a Jewish community centre in North London.
Mm.
And there was an event going on one Sunday, and there was a counter protest well, not a counter protest, a protest by the Palestine Solidarity Campaign outside the JW3. And they were chanting and shouting. They were shouting really horrific things about Israel is responsible for a Holocaust, reduced this elderly lady to tears. She was queuing up to go in. A Jewish woman was queuing up to go in. And you think, well, what kind of I'm sure most of the people who are listening, most of your viewers, would be thinking quite the same as me. If I was there, I would have punched the guy,
Yep.
happily. I would have happily been arrested, because this guy, that's just not what we do. No matter what you
Mm.
think, no matter what your views are, shouting. And funnily enough, we bumped into the guy. We could see him on a video. I wasn't
Mm.
there. We bumped into him in Parliament Square a few days later. And I went right up close to him and I said, "Oh, yeah, you're so brave when it's old ladies, all a bit sort of a bit macho, but there you go." And he just, like, you could see he just like that. But it's that thing. You've got these two things. You've got this suspension of norms and values. People seem to think it's okay to drive out free speech, to
Mm.
attack elderly people. In Glasgow, there was a memorial on October the 7th where a rabbi was speaking. And this guy chanted all the way through, a pro-Palestinian guy chanted through this memorial that
Mm.
was in remembrance of the victims of October the 7th. And again, that's not what we do in Britain. That's just, that's in any civilized society, no matter what you think of what's going on. So that's kind of the stuff that we need to, be drawing attention to and trying to win people, I think, to that. Look, these are the values that you stand for. Stand up for them.
Yeah.
Whether it's
I
an
mean,
old Jewish lady, it could be your mum who's being attacked by this guy.
but that's the thing. I mean, it's the same again. Goes back to this issue with the police and everything else. It might be me and you guys for now, but it could be people with even no platform or no voice. And this is the issue. I just realized that Niak has a. Is that a Trump mug behind you? Is that a Donald Trump mug? Can't take it.
Yes.
Of course, of course.
He's a big fan.
Yeah, yep. Trump is a big fan of Niak. Yeah. Let's get while we're here. Let's get a couple of reaction from the live chat as well, guys. We got the Vinny King saying, "Niak, what's with the banana? Keep fighting, bro. Explain the banana."
Actually, in the UCLA in USA, the protester actually had the allergy with banana, and the Israeli people going there with the banana and make them, provoke them actually. And after that, I decided to going with the banana and
Oh my god.
just showing we are fighting in same way and we are supporting each other.
Yeah.
And when I see their actually reaction, even they don't have a allergy with banana,
Yeah. Yeah.
they were so mad with the banana. That's why I'm keep eating banana in front of them. And
Oh my god, that's
yeah,
crazy.
it's good.
Yeah. Brilliant. For those who just joined the show, a lot of people are asking. You might have missed the beginning of the show. Obviously, I'm joined by Niag Romani and Mark Berber. They're both part of the obviously Our Fight UK. But both of them, or the three of the people you see on the screen, are obviously. I was gonna say victim. I hate the word victim, but we're the victims of the police leaked report
Me
that
too.
a lot of you guys, I hate that word, but basically, yeah, so it was our private information, and different levels, each one of us, it kind of affects us and personal life and family life. Now the second one, and of course we will wait for the investigation to see what happens. Let's quickly get a couple of more reaction. I think Ivan says I think the Mets need a good plumber to drain the swamp, I guess. Yeah. And also says Niak and Mark, much respect. Stay safe, brothers. That's lovely, isn't it?
Thank you.
Also,
Thank you, Ivan.
yes, and Luke says, under Mark Rowley, a sorry excuse for a man, yet alone commissioner, nobody is held to account. Crimes are unsolved, investigations fail, information leaks happen frequently. It seems shameful. Isn't it interesting? Because Mark, what do you think of this whole issue of? It seems it's not just about I don't even like the words kind of two-tier system, two-tier policing. But it's multiple different layers depending on what the problem is. I've had issues, and I'm sure you've all had issues where you need the police to protect you, or you need the police to go and I don't know catch a criminal. I've had things stolen from me. They take ages. Even right now, this investigation we have to wait for some time. But when they want you, they come very quickly, don't they? What do you think of this?
No, absolutely, and it's becoming more of a problem for people. So as you say, you've got the basic things like reporting a crime and they don't turn up, or they don't they just tell you to fill in a form on the website. So there's all that kind of thing. But then there's the side that we're talking about here about free speech and democracy. So you get a situation like a few weeks ago, we were outside Hackney Council. There was a Hackney Town Hall rather,
Hmm.
and there was a meeting going on, and myself and Niak and a few others were stood there, and there were some aggressive people, which again, apologies for anybody who's a pacifist. I would have happily thumped, and happily had a punch, but we can't.
Hmm.
You're relying on the police to protect you,
Yeah.
so that's fine. So if they're going to do it, then do it. If they're going to have the monopoly on violence, if they're going to say to us, you can't punch somebody, fine, that's the law of the land, we'll go with it. But then they have to protect us. Where do we end up that evening? In the local hospital, because Niak got punched. And he got punched after they spat on us, after they threw food at us. So, the police have either got to do the job or, and we knew what would happen if we had resorted to violence on our side. We would have been immediately arrested. You can be sure of that. So, yeah, they're leaving this kind of vacuum. And it's getting, people are getting more and more worried about it, I think.
Yeah, it is slightly worrying. It's just I don't understand the priorities in terms of the timing and everything else. I'm still waiting for my Apple AirPods that were stolen. I keep talking about it on the channel, and it was stolen, and I could see on my phone where it was. I told the police, I was like, "Can you go knock on the door of this house?" There was one house on its own. They were like, "No, no, we have to go through a process of CCTV." I was like, I know where it is. Just go knock on the door and pick it up. And they're like, not only we're not going to do that, they also warn me, don't even knock on the door because you knocking on the door is basically violence. It's like, so even if I
Yeah,
politely ask, is my AirPod? Maybe someone accidentally took it. Like, no, you will be the perpetrator. It's like, that makes no sense. None of it makes any sense.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
So many
Niak,
stories like that. Yeah.
yeah, Niak, have you been surprised and feel crazy when you discovered the Metropolitan Police in London in the UK? They do all these things because obviously you had the experience of dealing with the morality police in Iran with the IRGC and everybody else, and the police there are corrupt and evil. But I'm guessing you weren't expecting this in London, right?
What I'm saying, I think one time I was in your live before the Tommy rally, the second rally.
Hmm.
I explained you, I in Iran, just I think two times I interviewed with the police in Iran. Just interviewing, they
Hmm.
didn't put me in cell, and
That's nice.
never happened this such a worst thing with the police in my all life uh, before I'm entering UK.
Yeah,
But um, yeah, life is life. We should we should fighting,
I
and
know.
fight is not actually free. We should keep fighting to for actually for good people. We are fighting for good people, not for ourselves.
Hopefully, that people would see it that way. Obviously, there is a lot of weird stuff and rumors, and again, there's a lot of people on social media saying things as usual. There's been a lot of pro-Palestinian accounts saying that this is all fake and whatever. I was like, oh, okay, fine. I mean, I wish people saw it as fake so they don't pay attention to what's actually in the report. Anyway, but any last few words, Mark?
Um, no, just keep fighting, everybody. Thank you, Niak, for being an inspiration, and thank you, Maya, for you know. I mean, without people like you, these stories just wouldn't get out. I know it puts you in the firing line as well. By doing it, but I think, as you say, we are the media. We need more and more of these stories to get out, and people like yourself. Very brave job, but doing that is great.
Thank you. Niak, any last few words?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm Friday actually going to the police to give this. Actually, you know that I don't
Oh
want to
yeah,
explain more uh, because we are waiting for actually investigation.
yeah.
And I will just saying thank you so much for actually to British Patriot, which is always supporting me, supporting Iranian people. We in actually Iranian people decide they actually they know what they want, and
Mm,
we have a leader in
mm,
for fighting. Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi is a front line right now. He chooses to be leader of the Iranian people. Just please, I don't want to, supporting me. Just supporting the crown prince, just be the voice of Iranian people, or actually prisoner, political prisoner in Iran.
mm.
And that's it. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for giving me the time to, show our fight. Actually, thank you.
Thank you, Niak and Mark. And as Niak said, yeah, he's going to go to the police. We're not going to talk about the details on Friday. Give out the document, and we're still talking to lawyers, and we'll keep you guys posted on everything with this investigation. And I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.